Al-Qasimi and I'm the Vice President of Sharjah Art Foundation. Khalil Rabah, What Is Not, is currently on view at the Foundation, and this exhibition has been curated by the Foundation's director, Al-Qasimi. In this exhibition, you'll see ongoing and evolving works by the artist from the 1990s until the present day. Some of these include major bodies of works such as the Palestinian Museum of Natural History and Humankind, the Rawaq Biennial, scale models, and a new work commissioned specifically for this show titled Collaborations by Inform. Palestinian Museum of Natural History and Humankind is an inquiry into the museumization of the geography and history of Palestine. The ongoing project, which took root in 1995 and was formalized in 2003, deconstructs institutionalized formats of storytelling, placing artistic intervention in the center. It includes projects that led up to the formation of the museum or were instigated by it. Khalil Rabah's work process involves researching, revisiting, revising, and reimagining various bodies of work. This process of ongoing investigation and research offers us alternative histories and narratives that are rooted in the deeply personal experiences of the artist. The works are also highly relevant to broader examinations of the roles and responsibilities of cultural institutions taking place around the world. Khalil Rabah draws on different methodologies to engage with the themes of displacement, memory, and identity. It's wonderful for us to be able to share this extensive presentation of Khalil Rabah's work at the Foundation, and we're also very grateful to the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi for supporting us with some of the loans on this exhibition.
My name is Reem Fadda. I'm a curator and I advise the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi museum project. And we're here to speak about the work of the artist Khalil Rabah. Khalil Rabah has a really varied practice that is centered on his conceptual thinking. This particular installation is called In This Issue, Statement Concerning the Institutional History of the Museum. This large installation, all-encompassing, is a part of the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi collection. The reason why I say that it's quite comprehensive, it really self-narrates as a conceptual project a lot of the interactions, a lot of the manifestations that this conceptual project has had over a period of over 25 years from the artist's career and his inception of this idea. And at the same time, it does a lot with humor and sarcasm, introspecting what is the work of the museum, how is it manifested, how do we tell the stories that are innate to living objects and things, and what is shown in these museums. So the artist does this in this particular work through four components. There is a neon sign that is the title of the work, In This Issue, Statement Concerning the Institutional History of the Museum. There is a granite piece that is shown here outside that has the title of the namesake of this project, the Palestinian Museum of Natural History and Humankind, etched in it. And there is also 24 paintings that we see here displayed. And these paintings are documentary images and texts that are from the newsletter, which is the fourth component, that talks about the progression of this museum and all its departments and the work it has done and celebrated across the years. We see in this newsletter, which is part of this facet of this installation, it being interactive. So, and a lot of that also talks about the objects, how we handle them in museums. Here the artist is mimicking storage spaces, but at the same time he's inviting the people to be part of that semantic. They are invited to touch these storage and these objects. So this is a part and parcel of how people have a role in engaging with the artworks themselves, and to take one of the newsletters that are here, printed matter, and they reference, and the literature is given hand in hand to the people.
My name is Khalil Rabah. I'm from Ramallah, Palestine. I grew up there. The project here, the presentation of the museum, brings For instance, the notion of departments, botanical department, geology and paleontology, and so on and so forth. And it brings what the museum now is referencing to the notion of archives. And it is presented through the work of the assign first. Mainly it states the title. And the title is an important aspect of how museums think of themselves. The Palestinian Museum of Natural History and Humankind. It is an act of a craftsmanship that relates to the making of the identity of a museum. The paintings here in this archive presents the content of the newsletter itself. It is all the pages, the 24 pages of the museum, mainly the botanical section, the geology, paleontology, the earth and the solar system, and anthropology. As you might see here, the anthropology section, for instance, it refers to certain expeditions that the museum have been working on. The statement of the museum is a statement that refers to the museum in general, that is sort of embodied in the content here of the museum, and the critical rethinking of itself. Okay, this is the fourth act, which is printing. It's the newsletter itself. It is how museums are usually they perform, they publish knowledge, and they disseminate knowledge. This is the newsletter. It's summer 2011, and it talks about the institutional history of the museum, as I mentioned earlier, and it is in complete translation to a form of painting, as here that appears as an archival, a creation of an archive. The notion of making a museum also, as much as it requires the study and the history of museums itself, it also requires the unmaking of museums, and perhaps this moment that is in between making and unmaking it presents a new possibility of creating new museums, and creating museums where that is not necessarily a monumental museum, is not necessarily a formal museum, and that it is away from all the administrative and all the logistics that a museum, a museum can be a form of art in itself.